Hello, 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 everyone. Hello. We made it. We made it. We made it. We made it. Welcome. Welcome back to another episode. We don't know if we're going to keep doing this show. Following divine will changes life quite interestingly, which we'll talk about. We will talk about today. Um, but welcome on in. Welcome on in to another conversation around life, evolution, human consciousness, God, embodiment, mind, soul. What are we doing here? Why are we here? What do I pay attention to? What do I let go of? What do I what do I follow? What do I not follow? Tell me how to be in this world. Tell me, tell me. Anyway, it's good to be here with all of you. Um, I have a couple of things sort of planned, and then I'd love to answer a couple of questions that you may have about what's going on in your life. Um, Maybe I can serve somebody here today that's watching. And I want to start this conversation off with what happened with me the last 24 hours or 2 days, the last 48 hours. And I always share my own personal experiences just in case you're experiencing something similar, um, and it can help you in some way. So I have been for the last 8 months, as you know, maybe you don't know, but I have been navigating a very new path, in a way, a new path, working with Jesus and writing a book with Jesus. And in so doing, I have been learning teachings from Jesus and really integrating that energy, the Yeshua Christ energy in my body. And as I integrate this light, as I'm experiencing this energy, this consciousness more and more, it's really all I want to talk about, all I want to share, all I want to teach, not the Jesus and the teachings that are familiar with everyone, but very new ways of seeing him and seeing his teachings. So a new perspective, not from the kind of more religious perspective, and also not from the new age perspective, right? And so I have this amazing, beautiful platform, and I have walked a path and a way of teaching on this platform for 8 years, and have built a following based on that way of expressing and verbalizing and all of that. Everyone knows kind of what you're going to get when you come and watch me or listen to me. And then I had a little curveball with this Yeshua. With the greatest gratitude possible, I would never want to be anywhere else. But there was a curveball where I all of a sudden began to commit to writing this book. Jesus Speaks. Literally, it's Jesus speaking, and and everything changed. And I am somebody that I can't do things that are not authentic. I can't do things that are not in alignment with my truth. Like I've always been this way. Uh, since I was a little child, it's very difficult for me to live out of alignment with my truth, even if it upsets people, or if it's not what everybody else is doing, or it's not what we're supposed to do, or, I've always sort of been out of the box, the odd one out in a way, always doing things not the way the world does it. And so when something feels out of alignment, I'll literally just stop and do something else. I'll quit my job and go do a different job. This might not be the best way of living life, but I will follow true alignment much as possible. And so for the past 8 months, I have been really struggling behind the scenes, trying to live in a more aligned state with, like, how Yeshua wants me to share and how Lorie, the persona, wants to be perceived and liked, and how to now start to share what I think are the most important teachings of our time with a community that, is doesn't like the word God necessarily, or may be triggered by Yeshua, or other groups that may say blah, things about, well, that's not true. Anyways, it's a very contentious subject. And so I was trying to figure out how to navigate this. And I've kept kind of tiptoeing around all of it. It's been very uncomfortable. And all I wanted was to just be authentic. I just wanted to be me. Like, I just want to be me. I just want to be me. I just want to be all of me. We are in our greatest service when we are just ourselves, right? And I mean, I get comments from people a lot like, you shouldn't be talking about Jesus when you look like that, or you should brush your hair, or you shouldn't have your hair up like that. You should be more presentable. And I get all kinds of weird people's opinions about how I'm supposed to be. And at the end of the day, especially if you're on social media working, if that's your job, you get a lot of the peanut gallery telling you what to do and how to be. So it can be very challenging to really, um, be in that highest aligned or most authentic state. And we're going to find this as a theme going forward: authenticity, like truly, what does the world want me to do? What are they convincing me of doing? What do they want me to believe? They want me to follow suit on dot, 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 because it's going to give me what? What's it going to give me? What are they tempting me with? What are they telling me I'm going to be better at, or feel better with, or be happier with, or right? Like there's a very slow frog boiling in the water kind of pull away from our authenticity, because we're most powerful when we're in our authenticity. It's like, you ever have a moment where you're like, you just have so much energy and purpose for something. Like your whole body's just like, I believe this so much. This is absolute truth. This is me. This is what I know. This is what I believe. This is what I feel. This is what I love. And you've ever been in relationships where they stifle that? They tell you to quiet, don't speak like that. Don't I've had my whole life I've been in relationships like that for some reason. Um, and so when you break free and you're like, "Oh my god," you're just on fire for something, right? That's authenticity. Like, it doesn't matter what anyone says. You're just you just love the fact that you know what is your truth, and you're not bothered by anyone else's. You're not being pulled by anyone else's. You're just like, and the world right now is trying to keep us from that authenticity, because that's where we're most powerful. We can't be controlled. And so there's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of diversion. There's a lot of information that's in all these different poles, right? Maybe it's this, maybe this is the truth. No, this is the truth. No, that's the truth. No, it's this over here. Well, they're not actually real. They're clones, and they're actually aliens, and it's actually because of this. And there's like a bazillion different ways you're supposed to do like this. No, you're healing it like that. No, the water it's like, what's my truth? You can literally have one truth, and then within like 3 hours, you're like, "Maybe that's not mine anymore. Maybe my truth is somewhere else." What is my truth? Wait, who am I? Do I like peanut butter anymore? Do I like coconut water? Well, you're drinking it out of an aluminum can, right? You're just like, "Oh my god, I can't anymore. I don't even know me." It's designed this way, as crazy as it sounds, because the more that they can keep us out of this natural evolutionary shift, the natural evolutionary shift is that you and I are slowly walking ourselves back to an alignment with God. an alignment with divinity, an alignment with God moving through us, and us really beginning to just be us, who we are, what we believe, what we think, how we're going to navigate this planet. And when you're in that state of authenticity, you're not arguing with people. We only argue with people because we're still insecure around our own beliefs. When you're confident in your belief, when it's an absolute knowingness, there's no need to argue, right? We belittle other people or create divide in the world because we are still insecure. There's still not an absolute knowingness of our truth. That's not to say that you don't stand up for your truth. There's a difference between standing up for your truth and belittling and arguing and going like this with people. So anywho, the I'll come back to my story, but there is a poll right now. Humanity is confused. They're not sure who they are. They're not sure. I asked Jesus today, I said, "What's the underlying message that humanity kinda needs to hear right now?" And he says, and I didn't realize this statement that he's about to say is connected to my experience the last 2 days, but he goes, "A poll between others and self." So Yeshua is looking out at the world right now, and he's seeing, or what he's bringing to awareness to us, perhaps, is the pull between the world, what the world is saying, what the world wants to confuse us with, and ourselves. Like, what is happening in our own world, in our own inner world? What does it feel like to be truly, authentically just me? What does that feel like? When I go on social media or on YouTube or anywhere else, when I go to meetings, when I go to lunches, when I hang out with friends, am I held in that contained sovereign space or am I pulled, right? Am I more confused about who I am? Or am I really okay being all of me no matter what anyone else thinks? No matter what anyone else says, no matter what my partner says, my children say, my parents say, my coworkers, my friends, teachers, people online, right? Doctors, naturopaths. When we start coming back into the alignment with God's light in our bodies, moving through us and activating our own godliness within our own physical vessel, this is extremely important. This will start to get inflamed in a way. It'll be more and more difficult to not find your authenticity, your truth, no matter how many boats it rocks. So, back to my story. I was in purgatory, basically. I was like, this is torture. I need to be able to figure this out, Yeshua, because I want to be able to just be so raw and authentic and just teach all this juicy stuff that you have for me without thinking in my head, what are people going to think? How are they going to respond? How are they gonna leave? Are they going to stop following? Are they like all these things that go on in my head? How can I make it so that they accept it, so that they understand that it's for everyone? How can I make it, this is not about religion, this is not about spiritual new age, this is something else. How do I do this? Help me. And I was really sick and tired of this pull, the pull of trying to like people please and the pull of just wanting to be me. It's a really strange feeling. It's also extremely difficult, in my experience, to be fully authentic. It's the weirdest thing. It's like I was examining this the last 2 days and I was like, "What, I can't just be me." It was like something was pulling me from being able to just like be me. No matter what people say, "Well, you're a teacher. You're supposed to be like this and you should be like this and you should present like this." I don't wanna do any of that. I really don't. I don't wanna present a certain way. I don't wanna sound a certain way, look a certain way. I just like that puts a boundary around me, and I just can't do boundaries. I can't have rules. I can't have structure of like, you should look like this, you should do it like this, then you gotta go like this, and I can't. And so the first the change I did was I changed untangled. I was like, I'm not feeling untangled. It feels not right. I was trying to figure out how to do a show with Jesus, and I was nervous and I didn't know how. So then I did this show. I was like, I'll do the Lori Ladd show. And then every show just is not feeling right, doesn't feel aligned, doesn't feel I don't feel I feel like I'm forcing. I feel like I'm trying to figure out what to say. I don't want to be in that. That's not where I'm in the highest service. So 2 days ago, 2 nights ago, not last night, the night before, I was laying in bed and I was like, "All right, Yeshua, I can't keep doing this. I need you to move me. I need you to show me. Just show me. I'm ready." Here's the thing, you guys, that I've noticed with my experience with Yeshua, also, i.e., with God, or you could label whatever word you want to label it. But what I've noticed is I'll keep trying to figure it out and struggle with it and wrestle with it. And then eventually I'm like, wait, why am I not asking Jesus to help? Like, literally, the moment I say, "You know what, Jesus, can you just show me the way? Can you open the path for me so that I can see what how to do this now in full authenticity?" Wake up the next day and boom, it's like there's an inner knowingness of like, "Just go do this now." So, when you follow that inner guidance, when you follow it, it's a feeling state, right? You're like, "Oh yeah, this feels right." Everything is a feeling state. Intuition is that feeling state that says, go do it like this and go do it like that. When I work with Yeshua, I can feel within me the pull that he wants me to follow. So it can feel like an intuition, but it's almost like he's pulling me and saying, here, try this. Here, try this. It's a feeling state, though, for authenticity. And so the yesterday he said, just start going live. Just start sharing me, Lori. Go sit comfortably on a chair. Don't worry about it. Pretend like you're anonymous, that nobody knows you, right? And just start to share and let me move through you without the structure, without the schedule, without the whatever it is, right? Just let me move through you. One of the things that's so difficult at least for myself, coming back into alignment with divine will, which is God's will, is following it in a world that has structure and program, following it in a world that has conditioned us to have a structure. And I worked so much better not in structure. So trying to squeeze myself into that structure energetically was like restriction. Soon as basically Yeshua gave me permission, like you don't have to do structure, just go, just be, just it felt so freeing. There was something about the anonymity of it. Um, Starting from scratch almost, you know? There was a part of me the last couple of weeks where I was thinking to myself, I wish I could just like be anonymous, where I could just start a YouTube channel anonymously, like nobody would know me, and I could just start to share everything. And the reason for that anonymity was there would be nobody would know me, so they couldn't judge the teaching in a way, right? Like there's almost more of a judgment for me in my perception. There's more of a judgment for me because people have come to me because of these teachings about, whatever it is. And so when they come back to that same room and it's different, then they're like, "Oh, that's weird." So to be able to kind of start anonymously made me feel more like, "Oh, I could really do this." Yeshua said, "No, just do it. There's no starting over, Lori. Just start now. Find like just start now." And on an energetic level, I was relieved. I just started yesterday live of teaching with Jesus. I just sat and it felt so good. It felt so freaking good to finally, like, come out in a way and just start and, like, it's almost like I'm just slowly coming out now. It's so weird to say. It's the weirdest thing. Everybody has opinions on, um, everything. Uh, but to be able to be fully confident in your truth, to be fully confident in you, is everything. And that's one of the things that I've been praying for, and I've been fasting and praying for confidence. Confidence to be able to share what Yeshua wants me to share. And it's been, I've been praying and fasting on that confidence for, I don't know, about 2 months now. And it's almost like this energetic, it's like you can feel confidence energetically building in you. And like you're first starting to build a house, right? Or and you start with twigs, and then you build upon the twigs and you build upon that, and then all of a sudden you have this really strong foundation. um that is that is what has unraveled the last 2 months, and now I'm super 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 stoked and excited to teach these teachings of Yeshua. I'm more prepared, I'm more integrated, I'm more embodied with the lessons, with the teachings, with Jesus. His energy, his spirit is in me more. So I'm ready to do this next step. Um, and so I don't know if I'm going to do this show going forward, honestly. You might just find me live on YouTube doing the teachings with Jesus. I just can't do things anymore that are not in full alignment. And, it doesn't serve me, it doesn't serve you, and it doesn't serve Yeshua. And I'm gonna tell you guys, man, I'm editing the book right now, Jesus Speaks, and the more I go into the words, the more I go into his words, the more I go into his teachings, the more my mind is blown. It's being blown away by the recognition of what he was trying to teach humanity and what he's trying to teach humanity today, but nobody's really listening. Um, and I was laying in bed last night, and, he was like, "Well, you're actually listening to me, and you're letting them you're willing to listen," he said, "and you're willing to set aside your beliefs, around how you see me." And that he says, "And that's why it's working, because you're letting your beliefs around who you think I am dissolve, so that the actual truth of my messages can come through." The other really interesting thing, and I'm going to share this in my teachings with Jesus whenever I do it next, tomorrow, today, who knows. But he was talking about how a lot of his teachings, and I actually went back to some of the scripture today to read it, and freaking blew my mind, because a lot of his teachings have just been misunderstood. It wasn't even, not even because people were trying to manipulate the teachings. They were simply just misunderstood. Which is totally understandable. We misunderstand people every day. Someone will say a sentence, and then if you try to, like, go and explain that sentence to your friend or even to yourself, you're like, "Oh, yeah, this is what they meant." And then they're like, "No, that's not what I meant, right? I actually meant dot, dot, dot." And you're like, "Oh, okay." That's kind of how the overarching information of Yeshua's teachings happened. So there's truth in his all his is there's truth in so much of his messages in the Bible, but it's like a slight misunderstanding. So, but that slight misunderstanding, so there's that analogy of, like, if you if you have a round ball like the earth, right? And you take 1 degree, right? You just shift the perspective 1 degree. Why is my camera not, there's like a delay. Are you guys noticing the delay? Do you guys have the delay really quickly? Um, I'm curious if you guys have the delay really quickly. Can you let me know? So weird. Anyway, I will keep sharing about this. So you take a direction of the map, right? And you go, the earth, and you just move one. Um, there is a delay. Oh, that's so annoying. Gosh, what the heck? Yeah, there's a delay. Huh. What do you know? Sorry about that. That's super annoying. But anyway, okay, so imagine an Earth and then 1 degree over, right? So you just shift an understanding by 1 degree. And then if you move in that direction for a long period of time, you're in a very different place on the planet, right? Like when you start, you're just 1 little degree off. But if you keep following that 1 degree over and over and over, you're in a very different place down the road. And essentially, that's kind of what happened to his teachings. And if you understand the foundation of them, that they were all about the spiritual battle, they were all about the spiritual battle. They were all about bringing man back to their divine connection to God and pulling that light back in. And then you go back and read the Bible, you're like, oh, it's like it was already written right in front of our eyes, but with that one shift in perspective, changes everything. And I'm going to focus on this. I'm going to speak to this. I'm going to show this. I'm going to teach it. I'm going to blow your guys' mind. You're literally going to look at the gospel, the scripture in there and be like, he was talking about the spiritual battle the whole freaking time. He was talking about the spiritual battle, meaning he was trying to get humanity to understand the infiltration, the energetic light that has been pulled, the God particle that has been erased from the memory, and how to bring it all back. And it got so distorted and warped, not because the words changed necessarily, but because the words were never understood. The interpretation was slightly off. Anyhow, blows my mind. Maybe my next show tomorrow will be about that. By the way, if you are interested in following me and my teachings with Yeshua or Yeshua's teachings, we will be going live quite often here. So make sure that you subscribe to my channel because you'll get a notification, and make sure you hit the thumbs up button and like it, because then more people will know that I'm doing these talks. They're going to change the world. I'm convinced of it. They're going to change people's perspectives of who Jesus is, what he was here to do, what he was here to teach, and hopefully my intention is that it literally breaks apart the program, the deep, deep, deep program of this man. And that after multiple months and years of being reintroduced to who Jesus actually was and is, people will understand the power of his knowledge and the power of what he's trying to get us to remember. Um, so, here we go. We're on the front lines of. It's a good thing I didn't understand what the heck I was about to do with him, because I don't know if I would have said yes. Of course I would have said yes, but it's much bigger than I understood. And what a gift. What a gift, what a gift, what a gift. What a gift that you guys are listening. What a gift that you're willing to listen. What a gift that I'm willing to write it. What a gift that he's coming in loud. It's just such a gift. But let's go back really quickly to sort of the theme today, and really why I wanted to talk about authenticity. Everything for me right now is coming back to the foundation of this deeper remembrance of the spiritual battle. And I really honestly don't think there is anything at all more important to understand, because even today I was talking to a friend of mine at the yoga studio, and we were talking about her next partner, and really, really kind of manifesting him into her life, and recognizing all of these really deep programs that she has in her mind. She has these really deep beliefs that almost like she doesn't deserve the perfect guy that's going to come in and just love her up, right? She doesn't believe that she can have it. She's been shown time after time that she doesn't receive it because she always falls for someone and then they turn out to not be whatever. She has this almost unconscious, it's like not even a choice almost, right? Of choosing men that uh, don't treat her right. She sees the red flags, she just keeps going. And, there's a couple different paths you can take with that, right? You could say, "Oh, well, go do a lot of work on yourself, go do the healing, go do the shadow work, go do all that stuff," right? And and that may or may not placate, that may or may not fix the situation. Here's how I see it. I see it as a spiritual battle. I see that none of that is actually hers, that none of it actually was ever hers, and that that's not her natural state. I understand that her natural state is her coming back into alignment with this pure knowingness, this pure truth that she holds within herself, right? And as I speak to her, perhaps what I'm speaking is that innate truth within her. And when she hears it, she's like, that's truth. I'm hearing truth. I'm not right, I'm sharing truth, like her divine truth, authentic truth, a knowingness that she has. So she's listening, she's like, "Yeah, that feel it's right, it's right, it's resonant." But then she has all of those. Where did that come from? Most people are gonna say, "Oh, it came from trauma, it came from her parents." Yes, but where did that come from? Where did it come from her parents? And where did it come from her parents? And where did it come from her parents? And where did it come from when did it initiate onto this planet? My friend's thoughts, beliefs, and trauma initiated 7,000 years ago. How humanity lives on the planet right now is not natural. The reason you and I don't know this is because we don't remember. There is nothing natural about how we're living right now. It is inorganic. We're slowly moving back to an organic timeline, which is what we were in prior to the infiltration of the spiritual battle. But right now, you and I, that we what we think is normal, all the ways that we heal ourselves and fix ourselves and do it on our own and manifest our lives that we want, that's all not normal. None of this is normal. So I'm watching my friend and I know I can see that it's she's she's been she's infiltrated, right? And so, I'm not gonna start telling her all these things. She just wants to know the path, right? So my role in that moment was to try to get her to feel truth, right? When you have truth, when there's a truth piercing the infiltration, it's felt, right? So then there's a that's why authenticity is truth. When you pierce your illusions of who you are, when you pierce through the distortion, when you pierce through everybody else's voices, when you pierce through it all and you hear that one tone of truth and it just feels right in your body, it feels good. That's authenticity. That's authenticness. That's organic, natural. And so I'm trying to get my friend to remember who she is in this natural state, right? So it's like, okay, there's a man coming, right? And he's going to squeeze into your life and fit in a beautiful, organic way, right? Yeah. And you know that you deserve that, right? Yeah. And you're going to live with him and do life with him, right? And have fun with him. Yeah. Okay, that's the truth, right? Yeah. Okay, so you're going to hold that truth. And you're going to recognize all the things that have pulled you for your whole life that you were given. It's not that's going to be the tug of war that you're going to be at. And if you can hold the truth, you can if you can live in that truth, I mean, if, essentially this is a manifestation technique that people use, right? They're just not realizing that they're actually designed to align into that divinity with God. So it's like trying to get her to align into divinity without telling her, okay, we're going to align you back into divinity. This is why when we are aligned with divine God essence, that divine light, we are fulfilled. And so we are not needing or craving that love. And so we wait until the love arises externally. When the man comes in, he comes in, and in the meantime, she's doing life, and life is great. She doesn't have all the infiltrated, distorted thoughts. But we don't live that way. We've been completely flipped upside down and infiltrated. So now we live with all these thoughts and we have to heal them and fix them, only to find the solution for one problem and then another one arises. And then we're healing and fixing that one. And then another one arises, right? Never actually going to the root of the cause, which is aligning back into God's light or truth, pure, authentic truth. If you can find the pure, authentic truth in any problem that you're having and you hold that, you see it, you breathe it, you live it, you embody it, you digest it, you'll walk right into it. Okay. So if you can bring yourself just simply back to the light of God, letting that move through you, breathe that through you, live that through you, talk that through you, see that through you, like literally like living, breathing waters of essence, of frequency, then everything takes care of itself. Right? Like if my friend was practicing the embodiment of God's light, instead of her trying to focus on creating a man in her life, right? She would just focus on being in this essence of God. And the essence of God would take away, literally start taking away all those infiltrated thoughts. And by God's light doing that, the next thing you know, she's walking around and she meets her man. Not because she manifested it, but because she was focused on the light of God, and the light of God healed those infiltrated thoughts quite naturally. It's what God's light does. And then just her doing life, boom, the guy comes in, right? So we've been really manipulated and flipped on our bellies as to how this whole world works. And so when you start looking at the problems that you have in your life, they stem from you know, lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes of ancestors and generation upon generation passing it down and passing it down and passing it down, literally passing like infiltrated energies, belief systems, behaviors, addictions. It just passes. But there was an inception point. It began at a specific moment on this planet, and that is what we need to remember. That is what are really literally like closing the loop on. And the way we start doing that is the light of God moving back into us. Um, so then you start recognizing, wait, this is all, even right now, we have infiltrated thoughts that you can feel, right? But like everything has always been infiltrated. This whole planet is infiltrated. So every trauma you have is infiltration. Every trauma that your parents have is infiltration. It's all infiltration because none of it is natural. None of it is organic. None of it is how we were naturally designed to walk through this evolutionary path. So we've been like diverted, right? It's like, okay, now we got to like get back on that organic path. And so you have to be able to be aware of the inorganic path. You have to be humble enough to be aware. You have to be humble enough to see it. You have to be humble enough to acknowledge it, to recognize, how your mind has tricked you and convinced you. And so as we come back to this sentence of a pull between others and self, diving deeper into that for a moment, a pull is happening on the planet, a pull between organic and inorganic, a pull between God and the external world, a pull between authenticity and other people's ways. And we are watching a planet continue to be diluted with more and more. Uh, Information, details, truths, which are great, so long as they don't pull you from your truth. If you are handing your truth over to somebody else because you think they know more, you think they are better than you think they are more adept at being able to know truth more than you. If they talk about this a lot, like false idols, right? If you're placing your authenticity, your knowingness into anything other than the light of God moving into you, like that pure truth moving into you, like, wait, what's here? What's absolute truth and knowingness here? Then when you do that more and more, instead of relying on believing what everyone else is saying, but coming back into like always checking back in, like taking information, but then like putting it through your own computer system over and over and over again. That is so, so, so necessary in our walk with God, in our walk with coming back into that alignment with the authenticity with you. Who are you? Are all those thoughts that you are trying to get rid of or master, are they you? Those emotions that you have, the depression, the anxiety, the addictions, are they you? Where'd they come from? And then where did that come from? And then where did that come from? And then where did that come from? Is it possible that it all stemmed from an initial inception point 7,000 years ago and it's continuing to be passed on because there is a small group that's wanting to control and has controlled? So what's your authentic knowingness? What's your authentic, like we are literally fighting for our light. We're fighting for our truth. We're fighting to come back. You can have as many big perspectives as you want. You can have as many, quantum knowingness as you want. You can have all the oneness and all of that mindfulness and non-duality that you want, but you're still being infiltrated. There is no human on this planet that has not been infiltrated with their mind. And until we rectify that, we are walking an inorganic path. No matter what you know in terms of quantumness and oneness and unification and that all is just knowledge disembodied. The only way one can embody the pure divine essence of God and literally like walk it as a living breathing essence of it, a manifestation of God's light, is to be able to break out of that infiltration, meaning you're not controlled by it. You see it, you understand it, you know how to get out of it, you know the tools to get out of it. Um, One of the things Yeshua is sharing with me is um, fine tuning, like getting clear on the tactics that are used on this planet. So, like tactic one, tactic two, tactic three, tactic four, all the tactics that are used so that you and I can be more aware of what they're doing. Like, what are the tactics they're using? And then what is what do we do in defense to that or what do we do to make sure that the tactic doesn't work? Um, and that is gonna be very, very important when he starts to share that more and more because then it becomes very tangible. We get to now actually, like, put to use the information, right? And it's because otherwise, we're sort of hearing information that I'm sharing and not being able to put it to use. Although if you took the clearing, you started putting things to, putting it to use. Um, but it's complex. It's like there's layers to this, and it's a lot. Uh, it's confusing. It's complex. Um, there's a complexity to Yeshua's teachings that it's hard to describe, but it's a complexity where it's almost like it reminds me actually of when I was writing the divine design, how the information would come in, but then it would be so complex and challenging to understand it that I had to like slowly peel it apart energetically so that I could like his crucifixion, right? It's a good example. It's not just black and white. Like there was a real potent purpose for the crucifixion, right? And so in trying to comprehend the teaching of the crucifixion, it's like I have to peel back all the layers energetically to get to the purity of that moment. So a lot of times what happens in for humanity is we just take it at surface level. We just say, "Oh, it's because of this," or "No, it's because of that," or "No, it's this." And it's a very one-dimensional understanding. But with Yeshua's teachings, it's multi-layered, it's multi-dimensional. And so it's like you're doing like mental gymnastics in your mind. And then as soon as you finally click and get it, it's like, oh, okay, I got it. Makes sense. Okay. So this is the most exciting time to be on the planet. It truly, truly is. I feel a real big shift happening for humanity and for all of us, a real big eye-opening shift, a pivot, a real big pivot for us. And being able to we will start seeing things with a completely different lens, many of us. It's almost like, you know, sitting with Yeshua and learning from Yeshua and, being mind blown. It's similar to like, it's always been right in front of our faces, but we've never seen it. So before people knew of gravity, right? If you believe in gravity, but before people believed in gravity, um, they were never aware of gravity. So if something fell, they didn't understand it just was falling, right? It's like, oh, something fell. But as soon as somebody explained to them what was happening, it was like, oh my God, holy cow. Like you understand it now. It's similar to Jesus. Everyone thinks about Jesus and they're like, "Oh yeah, Jesus is this, Jesus is that. I have trauma from Jesus or Jesus wants me to bow to him and worship him," or right? You just go to this like whatever. But then when you actually see the truth, you can't unsee it. Can't unsee it. It's like, holy shit. And, that's what he and I are doing. So, it takes me time. It takes me time to be able to unpack it. It takes me time to be able to understand it. It takes me time to be able to integrate it into my body so that I can actually share it. And it takes me time to be able to be confident in it so that I can share it. So, it's like layered the way this is working. But all of it will be shared to the whole world, whether people wanna like it or not, doesn't matter. It's all gonna be shared, a new perspective, a new way of seeing this man, a new way of understanding his teachings from him, his voice, his speaking. People will say, "Well, Lori, maybe you're channeling." I'm not channeling. He's literally coming into it's not a channeling. He's coming in. Well, it's maybe dark energy. It's maybe like false light. No, no, no. That's like somebody saying, you know what house you live in, and then they try to replicate a fake house and say, "Go sit in that house. It looks just like your house." Like that's not my house. You could decorate it. You could put the same furniture in the same places. It could be the exact same address. I know my home. I know what my home feels like. You can't fake God. You can fake everything else in the world. You can manipulate most energies. You cannot manipulate God. It's impossible. That's why when people feel God, they call it God or spirit or God or source or oneness or whatever the word they use, it's the same thing. It's the same energy. You know it. You're not like, "Oh, I wonder what this is." The whole program that people are throwing right now of people that follow Jesus are following a false teaching is just another program pulling you from the truth of what he's trying to get out to people, you know? So anyways, the whole point is that you're amazing. You're incredible. You're about to be mind blown by the fact that like we think we understand this all, and now it's like, oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Then we're really going to understand it. And the greatest thing about understanding it is that there's going to be this massive liberation. You're going to feel liberated for the first time in your life. You're finally going to feel like, oh my God, this makes so much sense. So much sense. I'm convinced that if Jesus was here right now, sharing his teachings, and he didn't look like Jesus, let's say he looked like somebody else, kind of like a little bit of a different, or even looked like Jesus. Forget it. He looked exactly like Jesus, what people think Jesus looks like, right? They would they would disown, they would not listen, telling you. They would call him a false god, they would call him a false prophet, they would call him false, 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 false. Unfortunately, it's all very unfortunate, but also great because let's flip it. Let's teach these incredible teachings. Let's remind ourselves of what this incredible incarnation was here to do and what it can do for us, how it can help us, how it can guide us, how it can lead us. Um, I'll share something with you guys. So this this morning, how much time do I have left? Okay, 8 minutes. This morning I was editing part of the book. I was editing the part around his crucifixion and his baptism. His baptism, his crucifixion. Yeah, those two pieces. And he starts sharing with me how baptism has been inverted. It's like that people don't quite understand the, and by the way, been a dove. I kid you not, and it just freaking flew up and is in front of my window right now. I have never seen this dove. The second I started editing the part about his crucifixion, baptism, basically the baptism, this dove started flying, is sitting right here all morning as I'm listening to Jesus tell me about baptism, what baptism is about. And if you know anything about kind of the Bible, the metaphor for Jesus' baptism is the dove and the renewal of life. And just now, as the dove was gone this whole time talking to you guys, and I start talking about the baptism again, and the dove appears. You can't make this up with God because we always need signs because we have so little faith in authentic. We have so little faith in authentic truth. Anyway, he was sharing with me the true meaning of baptism. It's not about you're giving your life to a religion. It's not even that you're giving your life to Jesus. It's that you are giving your life to the light of God again. You're basically saying, okay, I remember 7,000 years ago that the light of God coming in was distorted and that I'm actually not experiencing the way in which God's supposed to come down. And you know what? I'm ready for it. So I'm ready to commit to focusing solely and to inviting in that holy, living, breathing water of the Holy Spirit, the holy light. And when you do that, you will be reborn. Because what we have been in is a false, inverted, infiltrated matrix and reality. We think that we're completely aligned and connected. We think that like we're all good, and we have no idea. Jesus literally came in and he literally showed humans, here is what you need to do. You don't need to jump in water, okay? But he was using the metaphor of water as God's light. Be birthed again, be renewed again by bringing in this light. Bring in the Holy Spirit. Bring in the light of God. You will be renewed. You will be new again. You will be who you have always been. That is baptism. It was never, ever about when you baptize yourself, you must get baptized because then you're a Christian. And then you're following Christ and you're giving your life to Christ. No. When you are choosing basically to invite in the holy light of God, you are inadvertently being baptized. You're saying, let's go, holy light, fill me up, come on in. I'm ready to move back to my natural state that was stolen from me in this game we're playing. And yes, it was stolen. Sorry, all the people that are like, we all have free will and it's just part of the game. No, there was a massive takeover on this planet, a massive takeover on this planet. We will one day read back and say, oh, yeah, that really did happen. That spiritual battle. We just completely forgot and didn't realize while we were in it. Well, now we can remember there was a takeover. This isn't just like love and light and we're all just one and everything's just God. That's true. But while you're also in this massive takeover, Jesus came down and said, yo, people, watch. You see this light coming in? You need to do this. Oh my God, it's like we're baptizing. Okay, whatever you want to call it. This needs to come back in so that you can find God within you once more. So anyway, I was telling my friend. So anyway, so as he's telling me all this today, I start Googling. I'm like, I wanted to see what the Bible said about baptism, right? Or what the Bible, what the gospel says about Jesus, what Jesus said in the gospels. Sorry, what Jesus said in the gospels about whatever baptism. And I was telling my girlfriend, I was like, oh my God, dude, there's so many things in the Bible that are so correct, except the lens is used wrong. Like what they were saying in the Bible is right, except they were using the wrong lens. So, okay, so here's an example. She found this 1 Corinthians thing. I want to read it to you guys. And I want you to imagine as I'm reading this, I want you to imagine that the planet's been infiltrated for 7,000 years, that the pure divine light of God that's designed to flood into our bodies was manipulated. And let's leave it at that. Okay. So here's what it says. Okay. Hold on. Here it is. Not a girlfriend, like my friend. My girlfriend has my friend. Isn't that how you call girlfriends? My girlfriend, who is my friend, not an actual like girlfriend partner. Okay, so it's 2 Corinthians 4:4. Okay, so here it is. The God of this age has blinded the minds of unbelievers so that they cannot see the light of the gospel that displays the glory of Christ, who is the image of God. So I'll read that again. Okay. The God of this age. So basically, the God of this age is the God that people believe right now has blinded the minds of unbelievers. So the people that don't believe in God and that don't believe in Jesus and don't believe, it's because of the God that has been created on this planet, okay? The God of this age, let's say the inverted God, has blinded. By the way, this was in Corinthians. This is Corinthians. So this is a long time ago. So that I hope you understand what I'm saying here. This was written 2,000 years ago, and they're talking at 2,000 years ago, they are talking about a God of this age that blinded man. You understand? That means what they're saying is the God that man believes to be God, back then, blinded the minds of unbelievers, blocks the ability for the unbelievers so that they cannot see the light of the gospel, the light of the truth that displays the glory of Christ, Yeshua, who is the image of God, so that the people that don't believe Yeshua, that don't believe what he's trying to say, they won't be able to see the truth of his words, the truth of what he's trying to get at, because of how the world has portrayed. They've blinded, this God of the ages has blinded the unbelievers so that they will not see the truth and the purity in Christ's words, who is the image of God. Way back then, this message has been trying to get out. But you understand how challenging it is to understand this type of language? Like, the God of this age has blinded the minds of unbelievers so that they cannot see the light of the gospel that displays the glory of Christ, who is the image of God. And not Christ like, oh, you better follow Christ. No, you better follow God, your divinity, your truth, your light, pulling it in, following it, bringing it in. It's so easy once you realize, once your eyes are opened, you're like, oh, but the programming, the deep programming around this has just been so heavy. And this is not ever about making Christians or Catholics or people or on any side wrong at all. It's about understanding how the information was just a little bit misconstrued, not it makes sense. Also, the information being pulled out, also the infiltration 7,000 years ago. All right, folks. I don't know if I'm going to do this show next week. I'm not exactly sure. I may or may not. What I may start doing instead is just these live teachings with Yeshua. So obviously, what does it matter? It's still the same thing. It's just me going live, but I'm going to be doing it more often. So make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. Otherwise, you won't know, because I don't think I'm going to be doing a schedule. It's not going to be like every day or every week or every Monday or every Friday. Um, it's going to be whenever it's time. So definitely subscribe and then hit the bell button. That way you'll get notifications. Come along for the ride. This is going to get awesome and juicy. And I promise you, it's not what you think. I promise you, it's not what you think. Um, and it is confusing. It's confusing. And also, there's going to be so much clarity. Um, yeah, I can talk about relationships. Um, Thank you, Matt. I appreciate that. I can talk about relationships in the next live that we do if you bring it up, Camille. If you're there and you bring it up, I can talk a little bit about it and how relationships work in the when you're aligned. They're normal. I mean, there isn't any. We're not doing relationships wrong. It's just that when you are in alignment with God, you don't need a relationship in the same way. So you're not necessarily um, sacrificing for one, meaning you're not accepting. I think. Well, it's challenging. I don't want to go into it right now, but relationships are beautiful, and they're they should be had on this planet over and over again. They're the greatest thing. They're the greatest gift. Relationships. All right, you guys. Thank you. I'm sorry that this was not synced. It's going very slow. It's very annoying. It will not happen tomorrow, I promise. If I go live tomorrow, it will not happen tomorrow. Apparently, I'm going live tomorrow. Stay tuned. Um, is sex supposed to be a natural thing? Yes, yes, it is. But that's a tricky subject too. Aligning with God and understanding sex. These are all good subjects, you guys. Bring them tomorrow. Bring them. It's so juicy when you start to like look at the whole world from a completely different lens. Like the lens of God. Like, let's go. I'm ready. I'm ready to look at everything through that lens. Um, okay, you guys, I love you and I'll see you tomorrow.